that they are part of something bigger than themselves. They are more likely to be adaptable, creative, and committed to achieving their goals. This alignment creates a sense of security amidst chaos. When everyone understands why they are doing what they're doing, they are more resilience tactics for the modern professional. It's fascinating how the ebb and flow of our careers often mirror the changing tides of the world around us. We enter certain periods with clear objectives, firm plans, and an air of certainty, but then there are those moments, those deep breaths between shifts in our personal lives, industry changes, or even in our companies that can feel like being on a ship caught in a storm. You know the feeling. Everything is moving, and yet it seems like we're standing still, waiting for the waves to crash over us. The uncertainty is palpable, and while many professionals feel like they are simply weathering a storm, resilient individuals, the ones who manage to not only survive, but thrive during times of change, understand something crucial. Resilience is not an inborn trait, nor is it simply about hanging on. It's about proactive strategies, ongoing development, and a powerful shift in perspective that enables you to not only endure, but transform challenges into stepping stones for growth. Stay with me here. This is one point. Where leaders don't adapt to inflection points, they own them. Are you with me? Welcome back. So how does one go from simply surviving to thriving? The first, and perhaps most foundational aspect, is understanding that your emotional responses to change are powerful. Emotions, whether they are fear, anxiety, or frustration, have an incredible effect on how we respond to challenges. Yet, it's not the emotion itself that should be feared. It's the lack of awareness around it that poses the real risk. Think about that moment when a change hits and suddenly you feel your pulse quicken. The heart races, your mind begins to spiral. Before you know it, you've already decided that the situation is insurmountable. But then, almost as quickly, you recognize something. Your ability to name the emotion, to recognize it as part of the process of adapting, is the first step toward taking control. This, in a nutshell, is emotional agility. It's not about ignoring your fear, anxiety, or stress, but about learning to sit with it and make thoughtful decisions despite it. Emotional agility was coined by psychologist Susan David, and her approach teaches us that instead of letting our emotions dictate the narrative of a crisis, we can lean into them with curiosity and acceptance. It's a form of emotional resilience that enables us to feel deeply but act strategically. Think about how many situations, whether they are high-stakes meetings, difficult conversations with colleagues, or pivotal moments in your career, demand this level of emotional regulation. When you master the ability to pause, take a deep breath, and think before reacting, you tap into a power that many overlook. And it's not just about controlling the moment you're in, it's about recalibrating your emotional responses over time. Every stressful situation becomes a practice session, a training ground for becoming more emotionally agile. The more you cultivate this skill, the more confident you become in your ability to handle whatever comes next. Consider the leaders you admire. They're not impervious to fear or doubt, they've simply learned to navigate those feelings with skill. When you work on building this emotional muscle, you're no longer at the mercy of your emotions. Instead, you're the one controlling the course of action. This doesn't mean you'll never feel overwhelmed or uncertain again. Instead, it means that you will be more capable of managing those feelings, making decisions based on clarity rather than panic. And over time, this practice transforms you into someone who doesn't simply cope with challenges, but leverages them to unlock new levels of success and growth. Emotional agility is a skill that, when cultivated, will serve as the foundation of your resilience in every professional setting you face. Alongside emotional agility, there's another critical factor that contributes to resilience: psychological safety. In the same way that emotional agility is about managing one's internal emotional world, psychological safety is about creating an external environment where individuals feel safe, supported, and empowered to contribute. It's an aspect of leadership that's often overlooked, yet it's one of the most powerful tools at your disposal. Think about it. How can anyone, whether a leader or a team member, be resilient if they're constantly worried about being judged, ridiculed, or shut down for expressing an idea? How can individuals bounce back from setbacks if they fear that failure is going to be met with reprimand or scorn? Psychological safety is the antidote to this fear-based environment, and it's the bedrock of resilient teams. Google's Project Aristotle, which studied the dynamics of successful teams, concluded that the most effective teams were those where psychological safety was prioritized. Team members felt that they could take risks, speak candidly, and express vulnerability without the fear of negative consequences. This sense of safety is not only crucial for innovation, but also for resilience. In environments where people feel safe, they're more likely to take chances, whether it's offering a new idea in a brainstorming session or challenging a status quo that's no longer working. And even when they make mistakes, they're more likely to see them as learning experiences, as opposed to failures that define their worth or ability. A leader who cultivates psychological safety creates a space where vulnerability and courage go hand in hand, and this creates the foundation for greater adaptability. The more psychologically safe the environment, the more individuals are able to learn from challenges and bounce back quickly when things don't go as planned. As a leader, you can begin by showing vulnerability yourself, acknowledging when you don't have all the answers, and being open about the challenges you're facing. This signals to your team that it's okay to not have all the answers, to experiment, and to learn from their own mistakes. You can also foster psychological safety by encouraging open dialogue, actively listening to your team's concerns, and offering constructive feedback that focuses on growth rather than criticism. When team members feel heard, respected, and supported, they're more likely to engage deeply, invest in their work, and contribute ideas that move the organization forward. A resilient organization is one where failure is seen as a stepping stone, not a setback. It's one where people know they have the space to innovate, fail, learn, and succeed. And creating this type of environment requires a conscious commitment to building trust, embracing vulnerability, and reinforcing a culture of psychological safety at every level. As you continue to build your resilience, you'll quickly realize that it's not enough to simply react well in moments of pressure or uncertainty. True resilience also comes from proactively seeking out and embracing diversity in your career experiences. Think about the moments that have shaped you the most in your professional life. Chances are many of them were born out of experiences that challenged you to think differently, to confront new perspectives, and to stretch your capabilities in ways you hadn't anticipated. Whether it was taking on a new role that forced you to develop new skills, working in a new industry, or collaborating with individuals from different cultural backgrounds, these experiences equipped you with the flexibility and adaptability you need to thrive in today's fast-changing world. In fact, the more diverse your experiences are, the more equipped you become to navigate change in the future. Leaders with a broad range of experiences, those who have worked across different industries, held various roles, or interacted with different teams, tend to be more resilient because they have a larger toolkit to draw from. When you're faced with a new challenge, you don't just rely on one specific set of skills or knowledge. Instead, you draw on a rich tapestry of experiences that enables you to approach problems from multiple angles. This is especially true in industries or roles where change is constant. In these environments, the ability to pivot quickly and leverage knowledge from outside your immediate sphere of expertise becomes crucial. It's the leaders who are comfortable working outside their comfort zones, who have had exposure to a variety of situations, that are able to adapt most readily to new circumstances. And it's not just about having a wide range of skills, it's about developing a mindset that is open to learning, evolving, and seeking out new perspectives at every turn. This mindset allows you to bounce back more quickly because you've experienced more variations of success and failure, giving you the confidence to keep going, even when things are unclear. As you embrace new challenges, roles, and industries, you naturally become more adaptable. Your experiences compound, providing you with an ever-expanding toolkit for navigating change. And ultimately, this diversity of experience builds the resilience that allows you to not only survive change, but to thrive because you have the breadth of perspective to draw from. Before we go on, what separates reactive leaders from visionary ones? They don't just see inflection points, they weaponize them. Let's break down how. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, there is the power of purpose. When everything around you seems to be in flux, when the future feels uncertain, and the challenges seem insurmountable, there's one thing that can anchor you: a deep, unwavering sense of purpose. Purpose is what gives you the strength to keep going when the path ahead seems unclear. It's what allows you to see beyond the immediate challenges and keep your eyes on the bigger picture. Leaders who are driven by a clear sense of purpose often weather the storm better because they are guided by something bigger than themselves, something that transcends short-term obstacles. Purpose is the cornerstone of motivation, especially during times of change. When you lead with purpose, your actions are intentional, driven by the deeper meaning behind your work, rather than just the demands of the moment. When individuals feel like their work matters, that they are part of something bigger than themselves, they are more likely to be adaptable, creative, and committed to achieving their goals. This alignment creates a sense of security amidst chaos. When everyone understands why they are doing what they're doing, they are more likely to remain resilient in the face of setbacks and disruptions. So, whether you're leading a team or managing your own career, clarity of purpose is essential to building resilience. Without it, you're simply going through the motions, reacting to challenges as they come. With it, you are empowered to face whatever comes your way with strength, focus, and confidence. Purpose isn't just the reason you do what you do. It's the foundation upon which your resilience is built. One of the most fascinating aspects of professional growth is how we often learn the most from the moments that test our limits. You know those situations, the ones that make you feel like you're operating at the edge of your abilities, the ones that seem almost impossible to navigate? It's in these moments, paradoxically, that we can learn the most about ourselves and how we can grow. While it's true that many people shy away from discomfort or fear, the key to truly thriving in today's fast-paced, ever-changing professional landscape lies in embracing those moments of discomfort. It's like lifting weights. The resistance you face builds muscle, and similarly, the challenges we face in our careers are often the catalysts for growth, innovation, and the refinement of our resilience. This idea is central to what I like to call embracing the discomfort zone. It's about finding ways to lean into discomfort, to push through the initial feelings of uncertainty or fear, and use that energy to fuel your progress. The most successful professionals and leaders understand this concept intuitively. They don't shy away from challenges. Instead, they embrace them, not as obstacles, but as opportunities to refine their skills, grow their leadership capabilities, and redefine their personal and professional boundaries. Think about the times when you've been pushed to think outside the box, or when you've had to take a risk that felt uncomfortable at first. Maybe it was speaking up in a meeting when you weren't sure how your idea would be received, or taking on a new project that stretched you beyond your current expertise. In those moments, the discomfort is natural. It's a sign that you're growing. What separates those who thrive from those who merely cope is the ability to reframe discomfort as a signal for growth, not as something to avoid. Those who view discomfort as an invitation to grow tend to rise above the challenges that come their way. They learn, adapt, and use those moments to transform themselves into stronger, more capable professionals. Embracing discomfort doesn't mean you won't feel the fear, the hesitation, or the doubt. It means that you recognize those emotions for what they are: temporary, feelings that do not have to control your actions. With each experience, you build the resilience to push through the discomfort and come out the other side stronger. This brings us to a crucial component of resilience: adaptability. The world around us is constantly shifting, and with it, the demands of our roles, industries, and personal lives. At times, it can feel like we're asked to keep up with an ever-changing landscape of technology, trends, and best practices, not to mention the unpredictable nature of global events, economic shifts, and new market entrants. And yet, despite this relentless change, the most successful individuals are those who have mastered the art of adaptability. They're able to pivot when necessary, to adjust their course without losing momentum, and to shift their focus in response to the evolving demands of their careers. This adaptability is what keeps them competitive in a rapidly changing world. But how exactly do you cultivate adaptability? First and foremost, it starts with an open mindset, a willingness to embrace change rather than resist it. Change is inevitable, and the sooner you accept that, the sooner you can move into a mindset of possibility. This not only makes them more adaptable in their day-to-day roles, but also positions them to seize new opportunities as they arise. But adaptability goes beyond just learning new skills. It also involves flexibility in how you approach problems, how you lead, and how you collaborate with others. In a rapidly changing workplace, adaptability is less about knowing all the answers and more about asking the right questions, being open to feedback, and having the ability to reassess your strategies when something isn't working. Those who excel in adaptability don't view setbacks as failures. Instead, They see them as feedback that can be used to refine their approach. For example, consider a situation where a leader faces a project that falls behind schedule. A resilient, adaptable leader won't panic or assign blame. Instead, they will evaluate the situation, engage their team to brainstorm solutions, and adjust the project timeline or approach accordingly. This ability to assess, pivot, and move forward with a sense of calm and purpose is what defines adaptable leaders. And when you embrace adaptability, you become the kind of leader who inspires others to follow suit, creating a culture of flexibility and resilience within your team or organization. Now, as we look at resilience, there's one factor that I find particularly transformative: the role of community. Resilience is often thought of as a solitary trait, something that one must summon within oneself in moments of crisis. And while individual resilience is certainly important, it's essential to recognize that our capacity for resilience is often magnified when we are supported by others. Human beings are social creatures, and in the professional world, the support and solidarity we receive from others can make all the difference when navigating challenges. Whether it's a mentor who offers guidance, a colleague who listens and provides encouragement, or a team that rallies together during tough times, the power of community cannot be underestimated. One of the most profound ways to build resilience, therefore, is to intentionally surround yourself with a supportive network. This network doesn't just include those within your organization, but also external mentors, industry peers, and individuals who can offer diverse perspectives and insights. The support you receive from these connections provides both practical guidance and emotional sustenance during moments of difficulty. Moreover, a strong community can offer alternative viewpoints, creative solutions, and fresh ideas that you might not have considered on your own. This collective intelligence is invaluable, especially in times of change or uncertainty. When you find yourself in a challenging situation, reaching out to others can provide not only a sounding board for your ideas, but also practical strategies and emotional support that help you navigate the crisis more effectively. But it's not just about what you can gain from others, it's also about how you can contribute to the resilience of those around you. When you offer support to others, whether it's through mentoring, lending an empathetic ear, or collaborating to solve a problem, you build a culture of mutual resilience. This creates an environment where people feel empowered to overcome obstacles together, fostering a collective sense of strength and adaptability that is far greater than what any individual can achieve alone. By building and nurturing your professional community, you ensure that you are not only resilient on your own, but that you are part of a larger, more resilient network that can support you when times get tough. But even with all the strategies for building resilience, emotional agility, adaptability, and community, one factor stands above the rest: the ability to reset. A reset isn't about quitting or abandoning the goals you've set. It's about taking the necessary steps to recharge, reflect, and realign with your purpose. It's about stepping back, catching your breath, and giving yourself permission to pause before diving back into the fray. Just like how athletes take time to rest and recover before their next game, professionals need to recognize the importance of taking breaks to avoid burnout and maintain long-term resilience. If today's insights redefine your next move, you're already ahead. This is one point where leaders turn moments into momentum. Subscribe, decide, lead.